What you know, Alibis? Welcome to another episode of Pretty Lies and Alibis. I'm Gigi. It's Sunday, February 9th, Super Bowl Sunday. Can't wait to watch. I wanted to finish this Kouri Richins hearing. I started this before I got the flu, did an episode when I thought I was better, but wasn't quite there yet. So we will finish this up today. It shouldn't be too long. And then tomorrow, I'll be covering the Rose Petal Murder trial here in Greenville. I'll be live streaming the trial every day on my YouTube channel. And for those of you that can't watch or don't want to watch 8 hours a day, I'll recap the best of testimony every night in an hour or less. So join along for that. It's going to be a very, very interesting trial. If you're not familiar with it, I'm going to link that playlist in the description so you can get all caught up. I think there's maybe 3 episodes on that case, and you'll be ready to go. From what I've heard, tomorrow, jury selection will take place outside the presence of the media. And then once the jury is seated, there's going to be some motions in the afternoon. One of the big ones, whether or not the child abuse materials comes in, could be a game changer for both sides, whether it comes in or not. I'll be live tweeting as well. So follow me on Twitter at Prettyliesandalibis. All my socials are linked in the description below. So follow me if you have an account there. Let's jump in. And what I wanted to do is read this walk the dog letter. I think I read this in the past, but I could not find the episode where I did. So we're going to read through it since the rest of today's testimony is going to have to do with the search of the cell that produced this walk the dog letter. It was found in an LSAT book in Kouri's cell, and the defense wants this thrown out, saying it was privileged information. Let's read through and see what you think. The title, Walk the Dog, and it says, but take vague notes so you remember. And there is a star beside that. Just for reference, Sky is Kouri's former attorney back when all this was going on. The letter says Sky is saying even if the gummies have fentanyl in them, the prosecutor will say, I tried to put the fentanyl in the gummies so Eric would have them. Stupid, I know, but that's what she's thinking. We will still test them, though. However, and she underlines that once, she wants to link Eric getting drugs and pills from Mexico, so we need some kind of a connection. Her private investigator is doing some research on the ranch/cartel place Eric would stay at. Here's what I'm thinking, but you have to talk to Ronnie. He would probably have to testify to this, but it's super short, not a lot to it. He will need to tell Sky at the meeting next week. Upon information and belief, and she puts in parentheses, just like they say. A year prior to Eric's death, Ronnie was over watching football one Sunday, and Eric and Ronnie were chatting about Eric's Mexico trips. Eric told Ronnie he gets pain pills and fentanyl from Mexico from the workers at the ranch. Not to tell me because I would get mad because I always said he just gets high every night and won't help take care of the kids. In parentheses, she says there are pictures in my phone of Eric passed out on the floor or in the chair. Ronnie should have texts from Eric talking about getting high as well. That's where the parentheses ends. Eric told Ronnie he keeps them in an allergy pill bottle in his work truck so I wouldn't find them. Ronnie never told me about the conversation. Eric finally told me and asked if Carmen could get him some. Eric never wanted anyone to know he had an issue, especially get caught. He always wanted Kouri to go down for him. When they traveled, Eric would put his drugs in Kouri's bag at the airlines right before they boarded. That way, if they were caught, Kouri would get in trouble, not him. Once they got to wherever they were going, Eric would pull the drugs out of her bag and it would cause a huge fight. She was pissed he would risk her going to jail for his drug use. He just would laugh about it. Eric couldn't ruin his image that he had drug issues, so he would do whatever he had to. Kouri has never done any type of pills, didn't like them. Rarely would she consume THC, only if Eric begged her because it was a special occasion. She has a little star by this. Reword this however he needs to make the point. Just include it all. And there's another little star at the end of the sentence. The connection has to be made with Mexico and drugs. Ronnie will have the messages to prove Eric confided in him about getting high. He can be short and to the point, but has to be done. Upon information and belief, LOL. They never found pain pills or fentanyl in my house because he hid it in an allergy bottle in work truck, and Cody emptied out the work truck within a week, so they were never found. When you talk to Ronnie about this, meet up with him in person. I worry sometimes your house and phone are bugged. Maybe drive down to Salt Lake and meet him after work without Bree. Sky has to make the connection between Eric and Mexico because that makes the most sense in her mind. If it's Ronnie's information and belief about the conversation over football, she can use that as a connection. Tell Ronnie don't overanalyze it. It was a quick 2-minute conversation, LOL. Tell him I need him to do this. Bring me home and then we will get those damn B words. Also, please text Lotto or call. Tell him do not text me anything about us doing things together ever. Like church, skiing trips, nothing that puts us together. It doesn't look good. We are so close to the end. Let's push through. Have the conversation with Ronnie before he meets with Sky. Then tell him to tell Sky at the meeting about the conversation. Hang in there. We're almost there. Love you to the moon. She drew a heart. At the bottom, she's got a bullet point. Take vague notes of all this so you remember before you walk the dog. I saw a commercial yesterday. Utah Mortgage Relief. Google them, please. It's for people behind on their mortgage. Can you see if they can help at all on the, and I cannot read her writing here, some house, please. We have to get hers, yours, and Chelsea's taken care of ASAP. Try to go to that place in Camas. What about asking Lotto to do a loan solely in his name and not have you on there? I know he can do a home equity line of credit on his house in Hideout. Not sure if he would, but I know he has like $1 million in equity. Maybe he just doesn't know about a HELOC. She puts in parentheses, home equity. If he wants to help me, taking care of these loans is most important. I don't give a crap about the yotels. Remember, I told you one way to get at Katie is going through my phone and finding a picture of her girls, even with the boys. Print 15 copies and send them out anonymously to different media companies. Obviously, don't email the pictures so it's not traceable. She would be livid if it got out to the public. You would just have to do it sneakily and be careful. She would try and trace it back to you. If not, no worries. Sky's having the My Girls do the first interview with Good Morning America. Please tell Chelsea to bring up that he hasn't been to church in the last 13 years she has known him. And Eric would brag to her about how much he drank and did pills in high school. Tell Kelsey to say, quote, Eric always wanted Kouri to go down for him, end quote. For example, he would put drugs in her suitcase when we would travel together, so if anyone got caught, it was Kouri. He would put it in her bag right before they left the house so Kouri didn't know. Then when we would land wherever, Eric would take them out of her bag and Kouri would be pissed and they would argue about it. Tell Kelsey to say how Eric didn't care and would just laugh about it and say, well, I can't get in trouble, as if it was okay that I got in trouble. Have Selma talk about Eric in Spain not being able to drink, so he was looking for drugs the entire time. And explain the drink the waitress gave him and how I called his doctor and went to the pharmacy immediately. Have Allie talk about how the sisters have always been jealous of me because anything they could do, Kouri could do better. Being a mom, college, stay-at-home wife until she built $1 million company, a nice house, car, everything she had they wanted. This comes down to jealousy, money, and Eric's partying that they didn't want to acknowledge, and sadly, an accidental overdose. Lastly, don't forget to work on the gun receipts. We want to file charges and let the prosecutor not do anything about it, to use in our defense. Will you buy a box of Crest white strips, open them up, put them in an envelope, and have Sky give them to me? You can tell her what's in the envelope. I'm sure she won't care. I'll make sure they can't be found in my cell. My teeth are yellow from so much coffee and tea all day, and she draws a little sad face. I love you. I love you. I love you. Hang in there. We're getting there slowly. You're the best mom in the whole world. I'm so lucky to have you. This is a big part of this hearing, wanting that out for obvious reasons. Let's go back to the last couple of witnesses of this 2-day hearing, and we're going to start with Jeremy Thomas. He is with the Summit County Sheriff's Office, admin sergeant over the jail. He is the one that actually found the walk the dog letter. During the September 14th search, this was not just Kouri being searched, by the way, it was the whole pod. He knew Kouri had been seen holding a letter up during a video visit. That was not found on the 13th, and their goal was to find that letter. They show video of the witness and the other officer going through things in Kouri's cell. He said he was only searching a couple of minutes before he found that letter. He does not remember seeing Kouri's former attorney's name on the envelope. He saw some papers and books on the top bunk and started going through those. The defense points out he has papers in his hand at this point in the video, and it is the letter. There were 8 pages total. 6 of those were the walk the dog letter. The witness said the other pages were maybe checklists or something like that. He read most of the document on the way out to give to his supervisor. The defense asked the witness to read the first couple of pages to himself and says it's about a conversation between Ms. Richins and her attorney. The witness says no. She's referring to her attorney in the third person. The defense says, right, but she's talking about something her attorney told her? And the witness says yes. But you continue to go on and read it. Yes. The witness said he scans the document and she's basically telling her brother what to say. The defense says, I understand that's your interpretation of the document, but let me back up. When you come across documents that are privileged, do you typically go on and continue to read them? The witness says this was not marked as privileged. When they come across documents, they scan them to be sure there's no security threat, or you read them until you determine it is a legal document. The defense says you refer to this as a letter, but is it addressed to anybody? Does it say dear somebody at the top? The witness says no, but on the back, it's clearly addressed to her mother. The defense asks, was there no envelope with the letter to mail it? The witness said he didn't remember finding anything that looked like it was ready to be mailed. The defense brings up the other pages beside the letter and asks what was on the checklists. The witness couldn't remember what was on that. He's asked, were you aware page 7 was found to be privileged by the taint attorney? And he says no. He took the document to the jail commander and explained the contents of the letter, and then he was told to take it to the county attorney's office for them to determine if it was a legal document. The defense asks if this letter was determined to be a different document than what was held up on camera during the video call, and the witness says that's correct. The witness came back about an hour later to take a photo of the LSAT book the letter was found in. She asked where the book was, and he said he thinks the other officer put the book in a bin. He isn't sure if that was while he was reading the letter or after. The defense says that it should be on the video if the other officer put things in the bin, and the witness says yes. The defense says they don't want to sit here and show every single video, and the judge said he's not going to sit and watch every one, but the defense can proffer which one they would like for him to watch. The defense says there's no video. Nothing else was put in the bin after it was brought downstairs. At this point, the state is back up. There's a video of the witness pulling the book out of the bin and taking a photo of it. The witness said he was going to take a photo of where that letter was found, which was inside that book. And that was it for his testimony. They briefly recalled Detective O'Driscoll back to the stand. Just a reminder, he is the lead detective. He was appointed that position after the prior lead detective left to work with the canine. The state said he wanted to ask some questions to help the court with clarity regarding some of the discussion and the walk the dog letter. The defense objects and says they don't know how this is going to be helpful to the court. Prosecutor Bloodworth has been telling us all day what's in the letter, and the court can just read it. The judge asks where this is headed, and the state said it's more interpretation than it is reading. So the judge wants to know, why can't I interpret it? And the state said because some of the interpretation requires information that the court doesn't have that's come to light with Detective O'Driscoll's investigation. The judge asks if the information is what Sergeant Thomas had when he handed the letter over to the county attorney's office. The state says no, it's information that helps decode the meaning of the letter. And the prosecutor says the defense is claiming this letter was prepared for litigation or trial, and we're saying it wasn't. It was prepared for witness intimidation. And to make that argument, we need a deeper understanding of the letter, who the various references are in the letter, so the state can make that argument. There's some back and forth with the state, but the prosecutor asked the witness to turn to page 3 and quotes, also, text Lotto or call him. Don't text me. Who's Lotto? The witness says Mike Kelly, who was a close friend of Kouri's or an intimate interest. The two had a history of texting over the jail app after she had been incarcerated. The state has him turn to page 4 and ask about where it references potentially working out mortgages for houses, which she identified as hers, yours, and Chelsea's. Who is the yours? The witness said Kouri's mom, Lisa Darden. And he knows this because at the time, all 3 houses were facing foreclosure, and Kouri's business or Kouri herself was responsible for those mortgages. Couple of sentences down, there is a reference to the hotels. The witness says that's regarding 2 properties at the Canyons Resort. They're 2 short-term rentals owned by Kouri's business. The next paragraph asks about one way to get at Katie, which is Eric's sister, is going through my phone and finding pictures of her girl. The defense asked if he knew Kouri's mom, Lisa, had a phone with a copy of Kouri's phone on there, and the witness says yes. The witness said that her mom had access to information from Kouri's phone, and during several calls or texts between the two of them, Kouri would ask her mom to retrieve data or information from her phone. On page 5, there is a reference to my girls, Chelsea, Selma, and Kelsey. These are 3 of Kouri's closest friends, and they have him turn to page 6. It says, don't forget to work on the gun receipts. We want to file charges and let the prosecution not do anything about it. What's the business about the gun receipts? At this point, the defense objects and says to the judge he can read the rest of the letter, and the prosecution starts to ask about the hunting camp in Mexico. The judge says they're not going to get into that today. And that essentially was it for Detective O'Driscoll's testimony. So just a couple of quick witnesses to finish this out. As far as I know, there have been no rulings on this. I'm keeping an eye out. As soon as I hear anything, I'll post on social media and most likely do a YouTube short. So don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification if you want updates every time I post new content. That is it for today. Hope you guys have a good rest of your evening, and we will see you soon.